This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the mayor.
You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, brought to you by Custom Car Show Productions, which includes Orange Beach Invasion, Scraping the Coast, Sicknick, and Slamber Party. Make sure you search on Facebook Scraping the Coast Show on Instagram. Also, Sparkles Detail, Tim and Tanya, ODB and the mayor saying, hey, I'll check. Yo, it's Our Lifestyle, the podcast. Biggity Mike, the mayor's in the house, episode 83. For those scoring at home, what's going down, Mike?
ODB, dude, it is so good to be on with you and Airhead Nation. It's another, and I actually mean this time, it's a beautiful day in Southwest Florida. Today, absolutely no rain, which it freaking rained all damn day yesterday, that damn storm, tropical storm coming through. So I do want to say, hey, everybody in Mississippi, Alabama, that Gulf Coast there, wish all you guys the best. Get ready, hunker down, because the rain is coming, guys. I don't know if it's going to be, as bad as hurricane-wise, but there is some rain coming for you guys, I promise.
Yeah, there you go, Miggity Mike the mayor with the weather report. I love it, man. But, yeah, seriously, hunker down. We know a lot of that storm surge, and even sometimes a lot of the heavy rain brings flooding. So, we wish all the Airhead Nation, in general, even people that don't listen to the podcast, that have been through a lot. Just 10 years ago, damn, was Hurricane Katrina. So keep y'all's heads up and, holler at us if we can help. But, listen, Mike, this episode is brought to you by Slamber Party, sponsored by Sparkles Detail. You want to follow Scraping the Coast Show on Instagram. That's the overarching Greg Miller Custom Car Show Productions Instagram account. There is, of course, one for Orange Beach Invasion, which we cannot wait for in 2019. So, Mike, just wanted to kind of ask, man, what's going down?
Brother, today, day after a holiday, as a mailman, is not a good day. But today was a great day. A great day because I trained me a new sub today. I trained me a new guy, and I pretty much let him do all the damn hard work, all the heavy lifting. So today is a great day, brother.
Yeah, you playing some Ice Cube. It was a good day. I love it, man. I tell you, I've been focusing a lot on work, and, it was really rewarding just to take last week off. There is a lot of time put into the podcast, just Mike and I recording. Then we go back and edit it. Then we bring in the guests. But on this episode, speaking of guests, we got two awesome queens, I'll call them, on this episode. We got Christina Szeremi, straight NR Caddy Queen. She's no stranger to the podcast. It's great to sync up with her, get a little bit of insight into that 59 caddy, among many other things. Also, the homegirl, Morgan Gora, and she's in the house. So I want to say Morgan ViAir, but I got to stay politically correct. So we got a couple queens, and they keep doing it. So big ups to them. Hashtag women of the scene.
Hell yeah, Jay. And hey, since you talked about Morgan, and I'm going to go ahead and just say Morgan with ViAir, because it was her birthday. So Morgan, happy birthday, sweetheart, from Airhead Nation. Happy birthday.
I got to try to find some Luke Campbell when he's like, it's your birthday. So, yeah, man, that's good stuff. Yeah, big ups, man. She's a really just a kind person. I got a chance to, when I talk with her, you'll hear, so went up to her husband. Seems like a good dude. He's a car guy, no stranger there to the automotive scene, which is good stuff. So, also, on the last episode, we paid a little bit of homage to the year 1982. So on this one, we said, why not? Because, hey, I mentioned prior, love the 80s. We've got a lot of kind of tie-ins. And then as we move into the 90s, man, we got some cool concepts, a couple that I would love to share, but still kind of working through those. But, Mike, I know we joked about last episode, man, so many things we can't remember. So I did a little bit of research, and there's really 3 things that stuck out for 1983, and I know I'm going to miss some. But Michael Jackson introduces the moonwalk in March of that year. Then you have Return of the Jedi, and Michael Jackson's Thriller video airs on what? MTV in December of that year. All 3 of those things really had a huge foundation for the 80s, especially Return of the Jedi. Many people love that Star Wars movie. But Michael Jackson, you can't mention the 80s without MJ, you know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah. One thing I do remember, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but do you remember when he was doing that Pepsi commercial and he caught his hair on fire when the stage, from the fireworks?
Yes, yep. And even though I'm not, a huge Kanye West fan, he raps about that in his lyrics. He's like, he got burned up like Pepsi did Michael or whatever. But I think I was just doing some research on that, and yeah, that was definitely back in the day. I think it was like in '84. But yeah, man, could you imagine when you see that video and you see actually how long his hair's on fire? He doesn't even realize it. I'm like, oh shit.
He must have been high on some coke or something at that time.
Dude, he had to have something going on, man. I don't know.
How the hell do you not? You're on fire, man.
Dude, we walk around like this. I'm off, like Eminem said on one of his tracks. He's like, I've been on fire for so long. I got ambulances pulling over me and shit, or some shit. I don't know. I got that wrong. He goes, I'm sicker than something. But hey, so let's go into the scene updates. So, Mike, it's tough when, you take a week off and it's not Truck Magazine Day. I had no new truck magazines arrive because I recently had the street trucks and I recently had the new truckin'. But I know our friends over at All Time Low Magazine are working on the new fall 2018 issue, and I cannot wait.
Oh, hell yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the new issue will be out and available to purchase in person at Slamfest.
Yeah, dude.
Make sure you guys are there. Second weekend of October, Slamfest, Tampa, Florida. Be there. All Time Low will have a booth. They will be set up inside the air-conditioned building, so check them out. They're going to have plenty of merch. They're going to have plenty of magazines, the old ones to the new ones. So make sure you guys stop by and check them out because you definitely want to, if you haven't talked to Rich or Beth and seen that magazine, you definitely got to check out All Time Low Magazine.
Get some of that Freon poison in there. And even though it's October, it's going to be damn hot. Hopefully it's going to be no rain. We'll have to get Big D Mike the Mayor to do a straight weather report from there live on Facebook. But in all seriousness, I'm looking forward to the show. I know many of you are. I know it's going to, cap off an awesome truck season, the whole, car show season. So definitely looking forward to that. So, Mike, in addition to All Time Low Magazine, you want to definitely make sure you're following them on Instagram. And as Mike mentioned, cop some issues either through their website or at Slamfest. But our friends over at Hammered Weekend Wear dropped some new heat on everyone, and they're getting really, Mike, a huge, overwhelming response. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you saw that Riggedy Ron Perkins dropped on them?
Dude, oh my God. All of a sudden I get this notification, Ron Perkins going live. And I'm like, oh shit, totally forgot, was gone for over the weekend, celebrating my little girl's 18th birthday. Totally forgot what was getting ready to get dropped this past weekend and Labor Day. And of course, here it comes, Mr. Sean Randall with Vanilla Ice. I'm gonna let you talk about the other shirt, but he dropped his two new shirt designs, and holy shit, were they badass. Word to your mother, Sean Randall. Now, the one thing I will say, another shameless plug, both these shirts are going to be available in person live at Slamfest. And once again, my boy Hammered Weekend Wear, Ron, with don't forget Hank, are going to be set up indoors in the AC at Slamfest. So if you don't get in on the pre-order, make sure you guys pre-order these things because you save $5 and make sure you got hoodies, shirts, banners. He's pulling all the tricks out for these two badass designs. So give us a little lowdown on the second shirt, Jay.
Definitely, and you'll hear me talk a little bit about the shirt with Christina. We kind of kept it a little bit vague because at the time it hadn't been launched yet. However, the shirt is epic. Not only does it feature Christina Szeremi, the homegirl, NR Caddy Queen, her awesome coupe Cadillac laid out. It's got the chucks hanging from above on the the power wires. It's got the brick wall in the background, and it's basically a spinoff of California A, but it's the Caddy 4 try to say that Caddy 4IA, but then the A and the R are reversed, or the N and the R are reversed. You get what I'm saying. But it's easier to see that one visually. It really is epic. I've seen a lot of people comment, Mike, that they bought both, and that's great because that continues to allow Ron to put out new content. And I tell you, if you look at what he's doing in our scene right now with the real builds, and then on top of that, how often he's coming out with new heat, man, I tell you what, he's on top of his game, brother.
Dude, because I tell you, that artwork is absolutely killer. And Hammered Weekend Wear is definitely doing it and doing it right. That's for damn sure.
Hells to the yeah. So that's HAMMERD weekendwear.com. When you hit the main page, you're going to see both of those new shirts right there. You actually save, I believe it's $5 when you pre-order. So boom, man, you order both shirts, save 10. That helps kind of bury the shipping. Add in OLP to the notes, the comments, if you will, and biggity boom, you'll get a little something extra there he usually throws in. So big ups, Ron Perkins in the house. So Mike, next, we had another event going down recently. I know I wasn't able to make it. I apologize. I know you were out of town, but tell us a little bit about Dragging the Alley.
Well, dude, huge shout out to our friends and our boys with Relaxed Florida, because Relaxed Florida kicked ass and took home the crown and were crowned the damn bowling champions at Dragging the Alley this past Saturday. Of course, Dragging the Alley every year is put on by Aftermath. And, not every year. I mean, they picked it up where Seth had stopped doing it. So Aftermath's like, hell yeah, we'll step in, we'll take over. And they're doing it, and they're doing it big. And shout out Relaxed Atmosphere. Florida kicked ass and took home the crown this year. So congratulations, Miller and the boys.
They sure did. And if you want to get more information, it's Dragging the Alley altogether. DRAGGIN, the alley. And what was cool is we had reshared the photo, and I went through and tagged every guy I could find. Of course, Paul's there. He's making a little bit of a cameo there. He's got his head turned in the one photo. I could never find that dude on Instagram. I think he created one and he's never went back in. But Paul's a good guy. We saw him over at the Memorial Cruise. But, that bunch of guys, the one thing that's a staple is they always stick together. They roll together. And even Big John, his truck is there. He drives the truck. He loves the truck. He lays it out. And I tell you what, it's a testament to Jimmy's Rod and Customs and all the work that he puts into the scene and into these badass builds. So, big ups to RA Florida.
Hell yeah, because they always support the scene and they always do it big. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, man. So let's do a little bit of a throwback, dude. Now, I posted this recently on our Facebook page, right? Or I should say our Facebook group. So there's a guy that hits us up. His name's John Moore. That's Jon Moore. And what was cool is I don't get a chance to interact a lot of times on Facebook because, maybe I'm not on there. And he, hits me up and basically says, hey, I was wondering if you could help me out. Got a little bit of an old school truck. I'm looking to see if I can get some photos of maybe how the original setup was on it. And I'm like, okay, what's up? Well, it's Lomigo that was built back in the day by Rob Rodell, the famous Amigo that's green. It had the Odyssey wheels on it. Here's a cool tie-in, the Slamfest. It graced the cover gosh, I should know. I don't know if it was like late 90s on the cover. Well, at the top of that cover that it's cruising, rolling Texas style, it says 20,000 at Florida's Slam Fest. I always thought that was cool because Slam Fest was on the cover of that issue, if you will, in terms of the name of the show. But you had Negative Camber right there, front and center, with Rob Rodell rolling in the Lomigo. So the guy picked up the old school truck, and Mike, we've seen a huge resurgence of these old trucks, so I'm sure this is going to be another one if he can get it together.
Oh, hell yeah. And it looks like he's on his way. And when it was posted up on social media, definitely got a good response. Lots of people remembering the truck, lots of people liking that truck. And so definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do with it and to get it up and get it running again.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. It's cool. I love when people reach out. There are a couple ways you can do it on Facebook, Instagram, but don't forget, if you want to shoot us an email or if you've got some content that you want us to share, you can send us an email. The easiest one is ourlifestylepodcast@gmail.com. That's all together, of course. So it's ourlifestylepodcast@gmail, and that helps, as we're kind of putting everything together, we can copy and paste from the email and whatnot. But yeah, feel free to reach out to us. I love seeing these old stories. I often have people that reach out to me about Lincoln questions, and hey, I don't know it all, but I do enjoy trying to help people when I can. So, but speaking of that, Mike, another old school build we recently had Carrie on. I know you saw it, Project Indie, man. You saw he's been making his rounds.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I seen it posted up on social media, and looked like he made it to the raceway, and it was a pretty awesome picture there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. I tell you, Kerry Bewley, what a good dude. I really enjoyed the story, so if you haven't listened, go back and listen to that episode with Kerry Bewley. He was posting up a lot of different photos. He was at the Indy U.S. Nationals, which I thought was pretty cool. He had a couple funny photos. One old guy, looked like a drunk guy, walking down the track, was like, "Hey, I painted that truck." And I, of course, commented on that. What's more important than anything, he's posted a couple photos, one with his girl, I think it was. And, he's been posting photos with his son and whatnot. And really, that's what it comes down to, man. The trucks are a cool byproduct, but, it's always family first. And especially when you can go to a show that's a family atmosphere, like for instance, Slamfest, it makes it even all the better. So big ups. You can follow Carey. It's Careybewley. And, follow him on Instagram. He's a good dude, man.
Oh, hell yeah. And talking about a good dude, it just segue right into this one. Our boy Josh Ellis with the look that kills. Sent him out. He ordered shirts from us, ordered hats from us. So I send them just a little, hey, thanks, appreciate it. Always supporting our lifestyle, the podcast. Send him a sticker. Just happens to be orange, and it matched his truck. So what does he do? He goes, slaps that damn bad boy on, and then posts a picture of it. Looks so good on the front of that windshield. And I guarantee that's going to earn some extra points at any and all shows that you do attend.
Yeah, man. You got to get the points, dude, like the old Bill Cox show, man. Put a little phone in there to get some extra points. But so it's IBEJELLIS. That's Josh Ellis. It's an 85 Nissan 720, as Mike mentioned, the look that kills. And I tell you, I can't wait. We are, this is a guest that we are going to have on soon. We'll talk a little bit about how we acquired this truck. It's really an epic one. And I love to see a truck like this that's really kept in an owner's hands, that he enjoys it, or she in some cases. And then also he spent some money and got the interior recently done that really ties into the truck. So it really is a testament that, the old saying was you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I tell you what, some of these old school trucks, man, they're still bringing the heat. And I love it, bro. I really do.
Oh, hell yeah. And another shameless plug, you will see the look that kills at Slamfest inside in the AC.
Yeah, brother. Well, a couple years ago, we saw an epic truck that made the cruise from Cali. We had our girl Holly, and it's FFFH Brewski, so Forbidden Fantasy Holly. And, she unfortunately was involved recently, and I don't think we mentioned it. She did have an accident in the truck. She's okay. Can't say the same for the truck, but I thought it was pretty cool. Just back on August 20th, she had posted up a photo from C12 Productions when a little throwback from Slamfest 2016 up in Gainesville, and she is truly someone that represents the scene. I know damn well. I doubt that I'll ever drive from here to California for a show. I might jump on a plane, but for her to come all that way, it really is a testament for her putting the stake in the ground, saying, "Hey, this is the scene that I enjoy," and she represents hard, man.
Oh, absolutely. And talking about Holly, she will be at Slamfest this year, unfortunately, without the truck.
Yep, so she'll be there. If I remember correctly, the homie Brian Good from Grinder TV will be there too, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the reason she's coming, because she's going to be hanging out and riding with Brian Good and helping out in the Grinder booth. That will be set up indoors at Slamfest in the AC.
I know it's a cliche, which is badass. I know it's very cliche, but I mean, you gotta roll with it. I mean, you're in good hands with Brian, man. I mean, he's a good dude, repping Forbidden Fantasy. Now, if he can get me a hotel room at the Avi for FFF 2019, you'll even be in better hands, because I'll be like, boom, man, I'll actually have a room. But in all seriousness, if you check out on YouTube, look up Scraping the Coast, just published on September 4th, which, oh, by the way, that was just earlier this week. September 4th, 2018, he posted Scraping the Coast 2018. He has 1,300 views already, and of course that's going to grow heavily over the next month or two, which they always do. He's got 53,000 subscribers, and it's important when you subscribe to someone like Brian's channel, even our Lifestyle, the podcast channel, when we post or when he posts new content, biggity boom, you get the notification. You've got the iPhone, the Android device, boom, you pull down when you get home, and then you can watch it right there. So it's always good stuff, and pun intended, Mike.
Oh, hell yeah! And Jay, since we're on the social media outlets, why don't you give OLP a little rundown how they can find us?
Yeah, brother. So, Mike often nudges me and says, "Hey, we got to do another video," and we do. The best thing I could tell everyone, we still get a lot of questions, and I talk with some colleagues in different, facets of the business, whether it be print media or whatnot, and we always have a talk about how do people adopt into, the magazine Simple. They've been around a long time. You've got YouTube, you've got Amazon. Of course, Amazon's got the Auto Revolution on there. It also has Devious Customs. That's with the Prime Video. But with us, it's pretty simple. If you were to, probably bring 10 people into a room and say, do you have a smartphone? Probably all 10 are going to raise their hand. And then you're going to say, how many have Android? And you're probably going to get 4 or 5. And then how many have iPhone? You're going to get, 5 or 6. So that's just the way it goes. And if you are, someone that's like, hey, I've got some homies, they haven't heard of us, you can easily tell them, look, go to Instagram. If they have an iPhone, click the link in our bio, and it pulls right up. It basically dumps you into the Apple Podcasts app. So that's pretty simple. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only way. That's the pre-installed, the easy way. You can still download Podbean. And one of the things, as I mentioned recently, you can interact with us. So you can make comments on the episodes. I try to do my best now to go in there. If you've got a friend that's got an Android phone, they can go to the Google Play Music, which is pre-installed. I do think eventually that'll be phased out. They've kind of bounced back and forth, but Google now has Google Podcasts. So imagine that. And it's pretty simple. Some of the episodes, well, all of them are uploaded to YouTube. However, due to the songs that we select and things like that, depending on the copyright, they're either immediately taken down or they're left up, of course, and you can still listen to them. So at the end of the day, boom, Android or iPhone, pretty simple. If you're on a computer, you can go to the website, just Google our Lifestyle Podcast. It'll land you right there, and then you just click play. It's that simple. So there's many different ways, Mike. It just takes a little bit of, I call it the grassroots movement, and we've seen a lot of people do that. Ruben consistently does it. Mark Clemens from from Texas. There's a lot of people that do, and it's hard to remember all their names right now. But, thank you guys for the screenshots and things like that. And then, Mike, the last thing I'll say is, speaking of screenshots, huge shout out. I'm sitting on my couch the other day, and I look, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I comment, and I was like, wait a minute, delete the comment. It was Street Trucks. So the good guy over there, Chris Hamilton, took a screenshot of our profile and shared it on Street Trucks Instagram. I'm sure it even linked over to Facebook, and I was blown away, Mike.
Oh, dude, that's a big deal right there. And yes, Chris will be coming on soon to episode. Him and his better half, Nicole, are doing some big things over there at Street Trucks. And don't forget, guys, they're looking for they just posted up last week, and we talked about this on the last episode, that they're looking for vehicles. They're looking for trucks, classics, mini trucks, full-size trucks to spotlight in this upcoming magazine. It's going to happen the Friday before Slamfest. So definitely hit Chris Hamilton up on Facebook, message him. You think you got a truck that's good enough to be in Street Trucks, and you're coming to Slamfest? Hit him up, get with them, so you can get included on in this magazine spotlight that they're doing.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Let's hit on the shows, and then I got one parting thing for you, Mike, and then we'll wrap it up. So why don't you tell us about Down for Dennis?
Dude, Down for Dennis. We've been hit up a couple times. I've seen it posted up a couple times all over Facebook. But we got Saturday, September 15th, Down for Dennis. It's a charity show. It's a one-day show there in Bluefield, West Virginia. So if you're in or around Bluefield, West Virginia, make sure you guys stop and check out Down for Dennis Saturday, September 15th. We appreciate you guys sharing it on our Lifestyle the Podcast group page, and we see it and missed it last week, but we'll definitely make sure. Like I said, I told you we'd get it out there, so make sure you guys go out and support Down for Dennis. And then, of course, we can't forget, Jay, there's another one coming. I think you got the information on that one, and I believe it's before Bayou Showdown that I was about to talk about. So go ahead and shout that one out.
Yes, sir. It's Seductive's Endless Summer River Run, and that's September 21st through the 23rd. Okay, so the homegirl, Kimberly Ann Larson, I believe, hit us up, and if I remember correctly, it's at Davis Camp Park in Arizona. So that's Seductive's Endless Summer River Run. Anytime you throw River Run into a mini truck show, Mike, that's fire right there, brother.
Oh, it's going to be a damn good time. And, of course, our boys, Greg Miller and Sean Randall, are throwing it down in Louisiana. Bayou Showdown, 9/29 through 9/30, Lake Town Park, Kennon, Louisiana. Guys, if you guys have not been a part of or ever been to any of the Greg Miller shows, now he's teamed up with Sean Randall, so it's going to be a damn good time. So make sure you guys get ready, and I will be there. I'm going to try to drag ODB down there too. He might be a little busy with work, but I'm going to try to drag him down there. I don't know if it's going to happen yet, but I will definitely be there. My road dog Daniel's going to be down there with me for sure. Bayou Showdown, guys, check it out. The end of the month. Down there in Louisiana, supposedly, I don't know, this is what they say, we'll see, but it's going to be the biggest show to hit Louisiana, so let's all make it happen, and Airhead Nation, let's go down there and support Bayou Showdown, 9/29 through 9/30.
Hells yeah, coming in swinging. I didn't get a chance to tell you I am actually going to the show. I just got my flying DeLorean, and I'm just going to cruise right on over there, brother.
I knew some smart-ass remark was coming after that. Do it. I knew it.
It's going to be good. If something happens, if the planets align, I will make it. If not, then we'll keep chugging along. But so I also wanted to mention Jimmy Smith hit us up, and there's a show that's going down. It's called the First Annual Cruisin' Truckin' Treats. It's October 27th. It's a free event, so it's from 12 noon to 10 at night. There's going to be music, raffles, kid costumes, costume parties, mini truck show. It's located at Stone Mountain Distillery. That's Lebanon, Virginia. So it's October 27th, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 2018. It's a first annual show, and basically wanted everyone to come out there in Virginia and, hey, do it up. But looking forward to that one. It's going to be cool. Hopefully he'll share some photos and some information after the event, and we'll post it up. So, Mike, as we wrap it up, I do want to run something by you. And now this isn't this. I don't think this is what you're exactly thinking, because that's coming soon. That's going to be on the next podcast, right? But I got to give you a hypothetical, because this is going to roll into my audio before we post Morgan's and Christina's. So I'm going to do my little segment, but I want to just ask you hypothetically. Okay, and I'm going to quote this. What if someone went on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and this is hypothetical, right? This isn't a real situation.
Okay, not a real situation. Let's hear it.
Right. And they said, okay, so I just saw a picture of Mike Murray's daughter, and I have to say that she's hot in the most respectful way possible, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and this person was older, and your daughter was 16. Would you think that that's a little bit of a diss?
Well, first of all, I don't think he should be making any comments about a 16-year-old.
Boom.
And he needs to keep his mouth shut. But at the same time, we all know whose daughter this was, and we just know that this guy's trying to sell some damn records and trying to get his name out there.
Haley J, Daddy loves you, baby. Never tell me how to raise my daughter. F you, lady. Dude, some of you guys have been waiting. I know this was a surprise album. What I was reading to Mike there, that was in no way disrespect to Miggity Mike, the mayor, and his awesome family. That was Machine Gun Kelly back in, I think it was, was it May? I forget when it was. I think it was a couple years ago.
I think it was 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was something like that. And I was like, really? But there's been a lot of beef between them. But regardless, you take that out and you go, boom, a surprise album. We've seen this from the Jay-Z's and the Beyonce. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my first impressions, and then we'll roll into the audio with the gals. But, hey, Mike, that's all I got for you, homie.
Hey, I just want to give one shout out this week, and let's give it to Brian Marshall over at the Chop and Drop Shop. He don't have it up and running yet, but he'll have it up and running real soon. And, man, ODB and myself wish you nothing but the best, and we appreciate you listening to OLP and supporting the Airhead Nation. And, hey, when you get it up and running, you want to come on and talk about it, and let us know. But, Jay, with that being said, man, Airhead Nation, stay low, and we...
cheer. Peace out, y'all.
Damn, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?
Haley, come here, baby. Bring Daddy his Oscar. Okay. We're gonna shove it up Ja Rule's ass.
Yo. Hey, it's ODB. I had to jump in here with a review. I'll call it an album review for Eminem's Kamikaze. Straight Kamikaze. Love it. This album dropped as a surprise album to everyone, including myself, on 8/31/18, which just happened to be Joe Budden, his birthday. So it was kind of like a double diss there, so we'll get into that. What I'll say about this is the day prior, if I remember correctly, I was scrolling through Instagram, and because I follow Eminem, I saw a snippet for the track Venom, and I'm like, oh snap, he's already coming out with something, something new for the for the soundtrack. And sure enough, that track, of course, makes the album. We'll talk a little bit about what I thought about the album, and then I'll go through some of the tracks, actually the whole entire album, and just give a little bit of feedback and, just overall kind of what I heard in these different tracks. Now, I definitely want to give a shout out to many sources online. I'll quote Billboard here in a minute. Love the Genius app /genius.com. And, there's a plethora of different sites out there. If you just Google, Eminem, Kamikaze, disses, whatever. I mean, a lot of this information is going to come up. But if you haven't checked out the album, definitely highly recommend it. One thing I'll tell everyone, and I preach this, if you like an artist, support them, buy the album, stream the album. I actually have been streaming it like crazy. I did purchase it from Eminem's site, so I'll have that physical copy coming in the next week or two. However, if you don't like an artist, or you don't like a company, or you don't like a product, it's simple, people. Just don't buy it. It's that simple. You know, the old, I always remember the old thing where, man, if you don't like what's on the TV, just change the channel. And, you know, lately there's been tons of controversy. I won't get into it, but, man, if you don't like a product, don't buy it. It's just crazy with everybody having a camera on them at all times, you know, in their pocket for the most part. Man, people love to just get out there and just start, you know, Mike and I joked about it before, you know, blowing up their coolers, and now everybody's lighting their Nikes on fire. And, you know, when LeBron left the Cavs the first time, it was, you know, burn the jerseys. And then he comes back and it's like, oh, he's our savior. Brings them, I think, just one championship, and then he's out of there, and it's like, we hate him again. Well, I don't think they hate him as much because he does do a lot for that community, but, man, it's just crazy. It's like, if you don't like something, you don't have to go out on Facebook and be like, I hate this product, I hate this place. It's kind of funny. I always joke with my friends, I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan. Don't like the team. No offense. I hate the team. But I don't hate the NFL because the Dallas Cowboys, or what an idiot their owner is. I just don't watch those games, you know what I mean? Unless the Packers are playing. So, anyways, man, it is crazy. Lots of hypocrites out there. I've seen plenty of people that are like, they hate a particular player, whether it be NBA, NFL, you name it. And then all of a sudden when they come to, you know, said person's team, they're like, oh, hell yeah, man, I'm going to go get the jersey straight up. It's like, dude, you'll never, ever catch me in a LeBron jersey. I don't care. It won't happen. And, hey, when, you know, there was talk like the Packers were going to maybe get Dez Bryant, I was like, dude, you can keep it. Not a fan of his at all. And, you know, I don't support players that I don't like, you know. So, straight up and down, that's a little bit of ODB. And, you know, hey, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But anyways, back to Eminem, Kamikaze. So, you know, I mentioned I saw on Instagram the snippet for the Venom track. Really, no one knew this album was coming. We've seen similar from with like Jay-Z and Beyonce in the past, like dropping these surprise albums. It's pretty cool because if you looked at his album Revival, he had a lot of build up to it. There was a whole cool campaign that was, you know, launched, and some witty people online kind of started figuring it out with a different toll-free number and things like that. When he tweeted out that the new album dropped, he pretty much said, hey, middle finger, I try not to overthink this. And, you know, a lot of times I think when artists don't try to overthink something, that's when they're at their best. Now, Billboard, I'll quote, says M is in fine form on Kamikaze as the 8 Mile rapper drops dizzying lyrics in several different flows that require you to hit the rewind button. With ruthless precision, he takes aim at anyone who said anything negative about him or Revival. Like a pilot flying his plane into his enemy's crash and burn style, M is taking a gun-ho approach on Kamikaze, regardless of the consequences and criticism that may come from it. As the world continues to take M's new album, as the world continues to take in M's new album, Billboard breaks down the 10 most vicious lyrics on Kamikaze. So you'll find those on their website if you Google. It's pretty cool. Nice little breakdown that they had. The album artwork, of course, pays homage to the great Beastie Boys. That was one of the first comments that I saw. I also kind of did a double take. That morning I woke up and I'm scrolling through Twitter pretty early and I'm like, oh snap, a new Eminem album, what? And I kind of did a double take because of the album artwork. Now, the track list, I'll go through this track by track. I won't spend a lot of time. Maybe, you know, if you guys like this, I'll do a more in-depth review. But I'll do a pretty solid review here, and we'll see if this is enough. So the first track, man, you put the album on, and boom, The Ringer, which is produced by Eminem, Ronnie J, and Illa, the producer. Damn, he goes off on this 5.5-minute track. From the plane crash at the very beginning, you know, think like a kamikaze pilot, till the end, M spits total fire. I like when he starts it out and he says, "Let me explain just how to make greatness straight out the gate. I'm about to break it down." So he has really an unreal flow on this track. I definitely like how he came out punching. And I love the line, "But bitch, I'm off the chain like Kayla Brown." Now, what is interesting about that comment, for anyone that knows, Kayla Brown was actually she was a kidnap victim. And if I remember correctly, she was held captive for a pretty long time. And back in South Carolina, she was held on like a rural property. I think it was a couple months, if I remember correctly. Now, she was able to, flee the victim, and basically, that guy was arrested, and he's serving like multiple life sentences. That was back from 2016. Now, what's crazy is she was found chained in a metal storage container. So, and when I mentioned that she fled her captor, she actually didn't. She was found chained. So when M says, "But bitch, I'm off the chain like Kayla Brown," pretty sick, right? Love it. Now, Kayla Brown even came out and made a statement, if I remember reading it correctly earlier today, basically said, "Hey, listen, I'm not upset at M. It just happened to rhyme. I'm cool," right? So I was like, damn, captive 2 months, and the person's coming out and saying, "Hey, it rhymed, listen, he's an artist, whatever." I'm like, damn, that's pretty, that's pretty legit. Now, the album, as I mentioned, the track was produced by M, Ronnie J, and Illa, the producer. Also, what you're going to find is throughout this entire album, Eminem produced or helped produce a lot of these tracks, which I think is key. A lot of artists don't do that these days, and I thought that was pretty badass. Now, next, Greatest. This was produced by Backpack, and Mike Will made it. So, I definitely like this track. I like when he says, "Bars are like bullets when I spit them schemes. That's why I call them motherfuckers M16s. Float like a butterfly. I'm going to sting like a bee. You ain't harming a thing." So, cool track. Again, I thought, for track 2, coming after The Ringer, Biggity Boom, this one definitely rides. And as Genius mentions, it really features a heavy multi-syllable rhyme scheme and wordplay that serves to prove that M is indeed in his greatest. He criticizes artists who brag about how much they have achieved when they have oversaturated the hip-hop scene with their amount of output. He also disses Die, and I don't even know how to say it right, so there's a whole thing to this, Die Antwoord. After they were mad, he mispronounced their name when he initially gave them a shout out, which was kind of crazy. So that was back on the track, I think, Untouchable. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Definitely a good track, hard-hitting track. Next, we got Lucky You. And for the third track, another good one with Joyner Lucas on it. So this is produced by M, Illa, the producer, Boy Wunda, and Johanna Sweet, if I'm saying those names right. If I'm saying them wrong, definitely apologize in advance. Now, Joyner comes with a tight flow. I love how after the bridge, M comes at us with a slick line about, quote, "a couple of mansions, but I don't have any manners." So he's got the double meaning there with manners, M-A-N-N-E-R-S, and M-A-N-O-R-S. Soon he goes at mumble rap, and he shouts out the Juice Crew with Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, and Master Ace. Of course, he also mentions 3 Stacks, who, as you guys probably know, is Andre 3000. Definitely love this track, Lucky You, with Joyner Lucas. Okay, next you have the Paul skit. This is where Paul leaves a voicemail for M, and he basically says he's not sure about the album. What are you going to do next? You're going to make Kamikaze 2, responding to the people that responded to the Response album. Pretty cool little skit, short and sweet. Love how he has always baked in his homie Paul Rosenberg into his albums with these different skits. Now, Normal is the next track, so the 5th track on the album. And verse 1 brings back memories of his verse with past homie Obi Trice. And for anyone that remembers, Obi Trice was signed to Shady Aftermath. put out a couple of good albums. His first one, Cheers, has a badass track on it, one of my favorite Eminem tracks, and it's titled Lady. And that track, M says, have you walking out this bitch in turtleneck sweaters, scarves and full leathers in 90-degree weather. Front of me, never, because we gon' be together forever. Right, bitch? Right, bitch? So, kind of a little bit of a throwback there where he, kind of mentions with the dope flow, and throw it up in her face till I dry heave. The beat switches, as does the flow on verse 2. All right, the next track, M calls Paul. So this is a skit. M tells Paul at the very end, that he'll hit him back, kind of that old, don't call me, I'll call you. What's interesting about this one is you can hear the GPS telling M where to turn. And as you kind of learn in that skit, he's basically at one of the residences of his critics from the album Revival. So he's like pretty much like, man, I'm coming for these guys in Slim Shady fashion. All right, Stepping Stone. This is another great track. I've seen a few people comment that this is their favorite track on the album. He apologizes to D12. He announces the group is over. Sorry if you haven't heard this track. I definitely love the beat on this one. I like one of the lines where it says it was never the same and it's bothered me since. And the farther we drift apart, the more awkward it gets. The more time goes on, the more life happens. And we got to be men. We got responsibilities. Plus, we don't say how we feel. And I feel like that is what got us in the debacle we're in. So it's pretty cool, man. Pretty much saying, listen, man, when you can't really link up with your homies and tell them, man, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's on my mind and that type of thing. Then, hey, sometimes people drift apart. And as much as I like the two D12 albums, especially the first one, we know they've been quiet for a while, so I think this one, is the book is shut there. And it is worth noting that this track was produced by Louis Resto and Eminem, so more on Louis in just a few minutes. So, next up, Not Alike featuring Royce da 5'9". If you haven't listened to Royce da 5'9's latest album, you are straight missing out. Now, this track on M's album, Not Alike, produced by Eminem, Ronnie J, and Tay Keith. Now, I love this track. It's a dope track that sounds a lot like Drake's Look Alive. Well, it samples that thanks to Tay Keith. The bottom line is this track is a diss to mumble rappers, so the big homie, Jamil, will love this one. I like when he says, rap god spit lyrical bullets, biggity boom. So more on the disses here in just a few minutes. I'm just kind of covering the tracks now for the time being. So definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album. So Kamikaze, this track is a fun track to me that brings back a lot of memories of the whole Slim Shady persona. He pokes fun of himself, fact, and so he starts out, okay, how do I say this? Fact. Last year didn't work out so well for me. Fact. So, one of those tracks again that kind of brings back to me the memories of the real Slim Shady. I like when he says the shit's embarrassing as me rear-ending Tara Reid Bear. So if you've seen any recent photos of her, she's like skin and bones. But a cool track again. Brings a little bit of levity to the album. Now, Fall is my personal favorite track on the album. This also, the album was released on 8/31, as I mentioned, and then just a few days later, on September 4th, there is a video for this. It's a very dark video. This track was produced by Mike, Will Made It, and Eminem. I like how he shouts out Hopsin, and Hopsin is another hip-hop artist that he took right to Facebook and literally created a video and was like, he was so thrilled that Eminem did a shout-out to him. So I think that's cool. A lot of people remember the disses, but he did shout him out there. I like when he says, gotta concentrate against the clock I race. Got no time to waste. I'm already late. I got a marathoner's pace. Went from addict to workaholic, word to Dr. Dre. In that first marijuana tape, guess I got the chronic case. Yeah. So a little bit of a nod, of course, to, his mentor, the guy that put him out, Dr. Dre. I could leave this track on repeat. I love the beat. Love the wordplay in it. Lots of different, lots of different things there to really talk about, to be honest with you. But, towards the end, he mentions, but all the hate, I can walk on Watergate. I've had as much as I can tolerate. So, again, pretty cool there. Love the track, and, man, it's one of my favorites. So next, you got Nice Guy. M's confused about his relationship status. I like the storytelling here. Seems like a shorter track. I like when he says, "You say I'm no good at sex, and you think I'm gross and unsexy." So that's actually, we'll talk about the other disses, but that's a diss really to Kim, his ex-wife. So if you thought that he got away without one, he did actually throw that one in there. And it's based upon an older interview from like 10 years ago or so, where she kind of, basically said he's worthless in bed and whatnot. So he did get that one in there. Then you follow it up from Nice Guy to the next track, Good Guy, featuring Jessie Reyez. This is definitely a dope track. The producer, Illa, the producer, basically said that he sampled a video game called Kingdom Hearts. It's a Japanese video game. And, man, with Jessie Reyez's dope voice on the chorus and the beat, definitely one of my top favorite tracks on this album. And then last but not least, I mentioned Venom in the beginning. This is from the 2018 Marvel movie, so the music from the motion picture soundtrack. It's produced by Eminem and Louis Resto. Basically, as we all know, he's made some pretty amazing songs for soundtracks, so it's pretty cool that he linked up. Very much very similar to Black Panther, how they linked up and they have Kendrick Lamar as one of the title tracks. I also like on this one where M throws a nod to the cult classic E.T., which we talked about on the last episode. He says, "I say knock knock, let the devil in, alien, E.E. Elliott, phone home." So, of course, I've got no flow. You guys know that. But I thought it was a cool nod. So to me, 13 tracks, great production, different names, some that you've never heard of, many good producers, well-produced album, great album artwork. Whether you think he was ripping off Beastie Boys or not, he was really just kind of giving the nod to them, the greatest to ever do it. But, Eminem, once again, with his 10th album, he kind of reinforces that, boom, I'm here. I do think, and I won't go too far off on the subject, I do think a lot of people, they don't understand what he's trying to do. Like even me, I'll look back and listen to old tracks, and it's amazing the wordplay that he has. I mean, things I never even picked up on with the bars, and he truly is, an artist with an unbelievable craft. I do think with his last album, he seems to be best when his back is against the wall, whether it be early in his career with the whole stuff with Kim and then his mom. Well, if you think about it, he's pretty much buried the beef for the most part with Kim. We moved on from that. And then on the track Headlights, he buries the beef with his mom, right? So it's like, well, who is he going to beef with now? So for a while, he stopped beefing with a lot of people. He puts out Revival. It sold great worldwide, solid for what you would expect from Eminem, lots of fans, but it just was not well received, whether you like the album or not. I like tracks like Castle. I think it's a great storytelling, like how it ties in, the past. And, M is really, really good when he does those type of things. The album overall, whether it be the political nature, some of the things that he said or whatnot, it just wasn't well received. A lot of people said he fell off, and that's where the disses come in on this album. But it's almost like he did it on purpose because he knew that people were going to come at him, and then that gave him fuel for the fire. Whether that is really something that he would think that far ahead on, who really knows? I just know that this album, and when you watch the end of the fall music video, you'll see where he steps on the Revival album. So we've seen this before from him when he called his previous albums trash. At the end of the day, this is his 10th album, and I read earlier today that this album was on track for another number one, which was going to be his 9th number one album. And his previous 7 albums also debuted at number one. So I think he was going to be like the first artist to have like 8 number one albums in a row. So, hey, he's got a huge cult following, whether you love or hate him. He's really looked at as, one of the greatest all time. So the last track, as well as one earlier that I mentioned, actually, you know what? And I meant to say on Venom, I meant to say that I like these lyrics here. I'm looking at my notes. How can I dare be down? Or excuse me, how can I be down? Me and Bizarre in Florida, Proof's room, slept on the floor of the motel. Then Dr. Dre said, hell yeah. And I got his stamp like a postcard, word to Mailman. So if you like the Chronic 2001, Mailman had teamed up with Dre heavily on that album. So I thought that was a cool nod to the old Aftermath dude, Mailman. Also, that made me think for a minute. I saw M and Proof in 99 at Janice Landing, and I thought to myself, like, man, maybe was that what he was talking about when he was in Florida, because Proof was there? But at the same time, I think he had just signed, and the album had just came out. So I don't know. I mean, obviously he came to Florida more than once. I thought that was kind of cool, though, because that was around that time period. But Luis Resto... Luis Eduardo Resto is a Detroit-based musician, producer, and keyboardist, and was born in 61 July. He co-wrote the Oscar-winning song Lose Yourself by Eminem. It is known for working closely with the rapper since his 3rd major album, The Eminem Show. So it's pretty cool. He doesn't just use all new guys. He does use some of the homies and the people that he's tight with. So to round this out, who did Eminem diss? There's a lot of them. There's the Die Antwoord. I know I'm saying that wrong. It's Antwoord. Of course, M tried to give him a nod before. He said his name wrong. He said it like in English, not in. I think it's it's like an African name. And they came back and said you don't even know how to say our shit, and it was like boom, dumb of them, but whatever. They came back, I think the last day or so, they had a super whack response, and it's on YouTube. It's like a minute. This guy's like a joke. I don't know why anyone's talking about him, including me. Joe Budden, of course, he actually came out, and he said, I think this was today, I have been better than you this entire fucking decade. Oh, okay, Joe Budden, sure. MGK, or Machine Gun Kelly, I haven't even peeped the diss track. A lot of people are saying, oh, he came back. What's M going to respond with? I don't know. I've read a lot of people say it was pretty whack, so I don't know. I didn't even listen to it. Academics, I think he was quoted with saying, I saw on Twitter, he's like, what did I do? So, M goes at him. Of course, Caleb Brown, I mentioned, it wasn't a diss. It was a clever rhyme, is what their spokesperson said. And that lyric was savage, but I ain't thinking about no bank account, but bitch, I'm off the chain like Caleb Brown. So awesome wordplay there. So the last few, obviously there were some people that thought he was taking a shot at Drake. He does say he threw a tampon at Drake, I think, on the album. He also makes reference to ghostwriting. I don't like your ghostwriter. So, everybody knows Drake has multiple ghostwriters. Sometimes they say a whole handful that are working on a track at one time. He rips on Tyler, the Creator, Vince Staples. I know you're thinking, who the hell's that? Lil Yachty, Lil Pump, Lil Xan, I think you say his name. Charlemagne the God. So we'll talk about that one in a second. Of course, POTUS. He's got Agent Orange in there. He mentions Ja Rule again. So that one was kind of witty, what he said there. I didn't cover that one. That was a pretty good one. Token, he's an up-and-coming rapper from, I think, Massachusetts. Mumble rap, he rips on all of it. Then he rips again on mumble rappers in Migos. He really hits on all white rappers. There's a pretty cool line in the album about that. Academics, who I mentioned. Earl Sweatshirt from Odd Future. I don't know. I don't listen to them. Pitchfork, which is a U.S. music publication. The Grammys, he comes on. He comes on Lord Jamal. And, of course, ex-wife Kim on Nice Guy. So I won't give you all of the disses. I'd love to spend a little bit more time. I'm running at about time for this episode. I know you guys want to hear from the awesome ladies, so I'm not trying to steal their thunder. But I will say on the fall track, and I posted this on my story on my Instagram at BD94S10. I love posting lyrics on there. But I do like when he comes at Lord Jamar. Now, Lord Jamar, he's a regular guest on DJ Vlad's show, and he once claimed that M is a guest in the house of hip-hop because he's white and not really part of the culture, quote-unquote culture. So M says, as far as Lord Jamar, you better leave me the hell alone or I'll show you an Elvis clone walk up in the house you own, thrust my pelvic bone, use your telephone, and go fetch me the remote. Put my feet up and just make myself at home. I belong here, clown. Don't tell me about the culture. I inspired the Hopsins, the Logics, the Coles, the Shawns, the K-Dots, the 5'9s, and brought the world 50 Cent. You did squat, piss, and moan, but I'm not gonna fall. Bitch. That's ODB, man. I hope you like this little bit of a review. I know it went a little long. There's a lot more to talk about with this album. If there's anything else that I missed, let me know. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy these interviews. Gotcha. Yo, it's Our Lifestyle, the podcast. And, we were talking earlier, we have a couple of the, what I call the women of the scene that are holding it down, and we got none other than, I'm going to hopefully say this right, Morgan Gora. What's going on?
What's up, ODB? Thanks for having me on.
Not too much. Hey, it's a pleasure. Now, we recently, it's a couple months ago, we synced up. We'll talk a little bit about Scraping the Coast, but you had kind of a big event on a cool, awesome date that fell on the calendar. What was that all about?
I got married.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you so much. It was the best day of my life.
So give us one word that describes the epic day.
Probably just love. It was so, quaint and very small. Everyone chipped in. My husband's family did a lot to help out. His dad officiated. His mom made the cake. Everyone kind of chipped in with the flowers and stuff. So it was definitely a lot of love, and everyone said it was the best wedding they've ever been to. So that was awesome.
Hells to the yeah. And, I've seen the photos on Facebook. Looks like a good dude. Was he from Cali? Looks like kind of a Cali dude. West Coast guy.
Yeah, he's actually from SoCal, where I live now in Huntington Beach, and he's a car guy. He's had Ballards, Impalas, all sorts of builds. So he's definitely up in our alley. And I brought him to Forbidden Fantasy actually twice now. So he's been around the scene. He's into the mini trucks. He's got a shirt from Scraping the Coast that he reps all the time. So pretty awesome.
Hells to the yeah. Well, hey, it's always good when you kind of keep it in the car scene. So definitely like that. That's good stuff. So
yeah, he's a great guy.
Since we last spoke, we got a chance to chop it up down at Greg Miller's famous Custom Car Show Productions, Scraping the Coast 2018. I know you had a good time, man. What did you think of the overall show?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I couldn't believe how many vehicles there were. I couldn't believe the variety. Tone Loc came out. I mean, it was popping.
Yeah, it definitely was. In ViAir, so ViAir Corp, they really represented. Tell us a little bit about the booth that kind of was set up and how you guys were engaging with all the fans and customers.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I have to say that we give a shout out to Kate Simpson for being our booth vehicle. Kate and Mike's mini truck was on the cover of the Scraping the Coast flyer, along with Sean's truck, who was in our booth at Lone Star Throwdown. So Kate was in our booth for Scraping the Coast. She has an awesome red mini truck she just finished up, and it was really awesome to be able to display her there, repping the new ViAir compressors. We had our new Gen 2s out. We had some portables because we do off-road as well. So it was just nice to be able to be out there, be in Mississippi. That was our first time going kind of to the East Coast, and I hope we go back next year.
Hells to the yeah. And I tell you what, I loved being able to do some of the videos of the booth. You guys had the bags for the 20th anniversary there. You had some cool little swag giveaways. And I know the sales guys were kind of really slinging the information as far as all the questions that people were asking. I know you guys had the lanyards on lock too. It was a very good representation. And I know I saw a lot of other shows coming up going, man, we'd love for you guys to come out, but I know you guys got a tight budget, and I'm glad that you guys were able to make it out and represent here in the, I'll call it the Dirty South. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a great show for us to attend. We had an awesome time. Shout out to Greg Miller, everyone at Scraping the Coast for the hospitality. It was more than welcoming, and, we definitely look forward to attending again.
What? That's what's up right there. So, keeping with the theme, Greg Miller, he's teamed up with his homie, and, we just had Sean Randall. They've got the Bayou Showdown, which is going down, and actually 4 weeks from today, the very end of September. So tell us a little bit about how ViAir got involved to help out for a good cause.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Doc, is in charge of cruising the cause. He did it at Scraping the Coast. He had his booth thing that kind of spins that you put money in at our booth at Scraping the Coast. So for the Bayou Showdown, shout out to Doc. He's going through some things in his life, and we just wanted to be able to support him. And we're donating a dual pack in his honor to go for the raffle. So all the proceeds will go to him and his family to help him out.
Heck yeah. Well, ViAir has continued to get behind different causes within the scene. Obviously, it's not easy to pick those sometimes, with the tight budgets. We're happy to see that you guys continue to support the scene. I would just encourage everyone to follow ViAir Corp. And then also when you're building those awesome air suspension rides, make sure you're, picking up the ViAir Corp product. Even if you've got, some of the different offerings out there in the air suspension market, you can always still add in a couple extra ViAirs. And I love those Gen 2 compressors, man. They really look good, Morgan.
Yeah, I've actually had a lot of good feedback about it. People really like the new look. It's upgraded internally. It's 100% at 200 PSI, and definitely gotten a lot of good feedback. People are stoked for them, and you can never have too many backups on hand.
Heck yeah, backups on the rise. I love it. So, a couple more things I wanted to hit on. I know that you've mentioned with us in the past with ViAir, I love the structure they have as far as SEMA. It's kind of like every other year. Makes a lot of sense budgetary-wise and, mentally, I'm sure, to take a little bit of a break. You're usually pretty busy with the camera getting around the show there. Tell us about how ViAir will be representing at SEMA this year.
Yeah, well, we, like you said, we have a booth every other year. So since we just displayed last year for our 20-year anniversary, we're not going to have a booth this year, but I will be attending for coverage. So we have about upwards of about 80 vehicles that I'm supposed to find and shoot in about 2 days. So if you see me at SEMA, I'm on the move.
Hells to the yeah. Well, that's it. And you stay on the move. We love it. We love all the photos that you take. You take some damn good ones, but we also like that you share them pretty quickly. Now, if I remember correctly, you're sharing those also not just on Facebook. Is that correct?
Right, on our Instagram as well, too.
Yep, Instagram, cool. And I forget, is ViAir doing the blog stuff now or no?
Oh, yes, we definitely have been adding to our blog. I just did a post today on Chris Pulley. He has the Dash Short Bus, and it's a special, handicap mobility school bus that's going to be easy access for people in wheelchairs. It's going to be for a great cause. He's actually running 4 of the new Gen 2 compressors. And then it'll be debuting at Lone Star Throwdown 2019, which we will be attending. So I'm super stoked to see it in person. It's going to get a whole new makeover. And, yeah, definitely check out the ViAir website, ViAirCorp.com, and click our blog link, and you can read all the cool stories we've been talking about.
Biggity boom, ViAirCorp.com/blog, or to your point, just click on blog, upper right corner on the main page. I see the fully handicapped, accessible modern hot rod short bus. Definitely looks like a cool project. Glad to see ViAir's tied in there. Now, the other topic I wanted to hit on, and I just so happened to be on the blog just about a week ago, there's a blog post here about some 20th anniversary celebration. Tell us a little bit about what went down there.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to be graced by the presence of Street Trucks magazine. The new editor-in-chief, Chris Hamilton, and his fiancée, Nicole, came out for the day, stopped by ViAir. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary. The Street Trucks is also celebrating their 20th anniversary, so they came out to do a feature on ViAir Corporation for 20 years in the industry. We had some feature vehicles with Andy and Edgar's trucks. That's super rad. They're going to be part of the photo shoot that was in front of the building. It was really awesome to be able to meet Chris in person because, you know, you've seen him coming up as a new editor, and it's just really awesome to be able to meet him in person, face to face. And he brought us a first edition of the Street Trucks magazine, so that was really awesome, considering there's only about 5 in existence right now.
I know, right? Those are hard to get your hands on. Epic truck that was painted by Cal Concepts graces that cover. You mentioned Andy and Melissa, and then you also, you know, those 2 trucks. You got the blue 88 to 98, and then you got the older hot rod. Definitely a cool combination, and I think what Chris is doing at Street Trucks, he's getting out there, he's slapping hands, he's meeting people. He was, of course, at Scraping the Coast. That show coverage was just in the recent issue, so it's very cool to see him stopping by. And then, of course, I see those awesome wheel stands, the 2.0 version sitting in front of the OBS Chevy.
Yeah, totally. So that seems to be the new trend, according to Chris, is the that type of body style truck. As you know, Sean Cooley has a similar one with the GMC, and he's been traveling all around the world, updating via the bagged board. He also stopped by ViAir a couple months ago and paid us a visit while he was cruising through California. So glad to be on top of those.
Nice tie in there. Yeah, Miggity Mike the Mayor and I were just chatting about that for Mini Truckin' Monday, and we got to get the homie on because I haven't been on Facebook as much. I don't know exactly what the cause is, but man, that guy is racking up some miles, and I'm glad that he was able to stop by ViAir.
Yeah, he's been testing ViAir's reliability, considering he's driven literally from coast to coast. He's running dual 4x4s. He graced us with his presence. It was really awesome to be able to meet him officially as he's on his way, Mr. Forrest Gump.
you know, they used to supposedly say that bagged vehicles couldn't be daily driven. I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, you see, he obviously breaks that mold.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked a little bit about the wedding, the awesomeness there, a few things that you have going on. What else would you like to share with the Airhead Nation while you got a couple minutes?
Just wanted to shout everyone out. Thank you for the support of ViAir products. The overwhelming awesome reactions to the new Gen 2s, I think, has been really helpful. We have onboard air kits that run the new Gen 2s, which is for off-road applications, which a lot of people don't realize. You can take our onboard air kits and actually use them for air suspension as well. So you can run a line off of the tank and use it for air tools. You can use it for tire inflation. And so a lot of people are doing that modification where they're using it for multiple applications. Like we have a SEMA boost vehicle. It's a 2016 Honda Fit, and it's running our onboard air kit so that he can use the tools for his tow truck when he's not, at the show.
Damn, yeah. I love the versatility. We've kind of seen some of those vehicles, and I think that'll continue to be a leading factor in like the tow rigs and some of these awesome trailer setups that guys have, with the air tools and things like that. The ad, it says the heart of any air suspension system. We love that you kind of were able to repurpose some of the awesome, I'd say, setup that I think we saw at SEMA. That was, of course, at Scraping the Coast. So very cool that ViAir continues to really get out there and embrace the entire culture and the entire scene.
Yeah, I think I've seen the lifted trucks are now doing airbags, so it's kind of multi-dimensional. So I'm glad that we can be a part of all of those scenes: off-road, bagged, lifted trucks, slam trucks. And as far as what you're referring to, air suspension guy is kind of what we refer to him as. He's like our billboard graphic that kind of displays how it's the heart of your air suspension system, being it's almost like the heart of the body, and then the airlines are like your veins, and the controllers your brain, and the tank is your stomach. So, and the airbags are your lungs. So it definitely helps to have like a model that you can reference and see how that all actually plays out.
Hells yeah, and it's all around the the big Hulk guy, you know what I mean? So it means you get the ViAir compressors, you bulk up. I get it, you know what I'm saying? I like the messaging.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also seeing on the website, which I think is cool, you can leave a message. It even talks about, and you've alluded to this in the past, it talks about the operator's hours there. Just a moment ago in the bottom right corner, I see excellent service, 5 out of 5, with the different verified by live chat ratings. So when you purchase ViAir products, you get the quality and you get the reliability, but you also get the serviceability, if you will, from a customer support standpoint. So, it's always good to sync up. We're glad, Morgan, that everything is chugging away. You got a great, life going out there in Cali. And I would say if you're ever bored on Tuesdays, there's always, I think it's Huntington Beach Tuesdays. Some of the old BMX guys go down by the beach there. I'm hoping to make it out to that one day.
Nice. Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah, I'll have to send you guys some of those cool photos. But, it's like I said, it's always good syncing up. We look forward to the continue, partnership with you guys. Thank you for, always reposting. Don't forget they're also on Twitter. So Morgan and team often retweet some of our posts. We try to do the same as well. So ViAir, your vital air source. Anything else you got, Morgan?
Thanks for supporting ViAir. Keep on trucking.
You know it. Well, hey, we got one thing. I just want to say we got you. Enjoy your night.
I bet you Biggie bust him. He probably tried to fuck him. I told him not to trust him. Lyrically, I dust him. Off like pledge. Hit hard like sledgehammers. Bitch with that platinum grammar.
Yo, it's Our Lifestyle, the podcast. And hey, Biggity Mike the Mayor and I introduced this episode. Of course, we've got none other than Christina Szeremi in the house from NR, California. What's going down?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I was going to say Lincoln Caddy Queen, and I was going to try to mix that in there, but I was like, yeah, it doesn't have the buzz to it.
Whoa. You get that filth out your mouth.
I know, right? I know. So we're rocking episode 83. We're talking about women in the scene. You got a stronghold on what you're doing out there in Cali, repping No Regrets. And we've had you on before, so thank you for your time. But I just wanted to kind of ask, what's new in your world, Christina?
Oh, man, quite a bit. Obviously my 65 has been done for a while now. I've done a few little updates here and there. Recently, just got sponsored by a detail company, Killer Wax, and then Hammered Weekend Wear reached out to me, and they wanted to produce a shirt with my car on it. So me and Ron Perkins got together and put our heads together, came up with a badass design that drops this weekend. And other than that, I finally started my 59. I got it up to the shop. That's been a good 2.5 years coming. So I'm getting ready to head underway on that.
Hells to the yeah. And hey, I tell everyone it's HAMMERD, weekendwear.com or Hammered Apparel. Make sure you go out there. By the time this one drops, you'll be able to order that NR Caddy Queen. I may or may not have seen a sneak preview, and I think it's 2 thumbs up. So, hey, I tell you what, you keep doing, good shit because it's coming together nicely, Christina.
Yeah, it's badass. People definitely don't want to sleep on this one.
That's it. So, talk a little bit about, the 65, when you were on before, you've had a lot of success. You got the shirt coming out. Any recent kind of shows that you've hit or anything you wanted to share about the car? And I know you're enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, definitely enjoy it more and more. I mean, there's still little things here and there that I want to do to it. But I kind of pull myself back from it because if I keep going on it, my 59 will never get the love it needs. So I really just want to, just kind of drive and enjoy the 65 for now and really get the 59 build going. So I've just been hitting all the shows I can, which is pretty much every weekend here in California. So that's always nice. But
yeah, you live in that Cali life. And it's funny because, I listen to G-Eazy. I love him as an artist, reps the Bay Area. and every time on the Beautiful and Damned album, you know, there's the one song where he's like, I'm in my 65 speeding down the highway. It's a hell of a ride. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, man, I got a 64, I got a 67, but I don't have a 65. I'm like, it just rhymes, you know, it just goes good. So I know you're out there cruising, man, and you're enjoying yours.
I didn't know that. I'm going to have to take a video of my car now and use that song.
Yeah, that's the jam right there. I put that Beautiful and Damned album on straight repeat. You know what I mean? So I know you like your music and whatnot, but I tell you, the partnership that you got with Riggedy Ron Perkins, he's a guy that I got a lot of respect for. He continues to put out new product, and I think the feel and the look of the product that's going to be coming out for your shirt is, you know, spot on. And I tell everyone, go out there, order the shirt, kind of embrace the culture. And I tell you what, you've done that. How many new tattoos have you gotten since you've last been on?
Holy shit, man, a lot. I'm trying to finish my leg sleeves by the end of the year, but, you know, it's approaching pretty fast, but I'm almost done with my lowrider black and gray sleeve. I got the back side of it complete. I finally buckled down and got my kneecap done. I was sweating that so bad. But, I've been saving that spot. I really wanted to change steering wheel and the little lowrider guy emblem. And I was pretty stressed about it, but it was actually cake. It was probably one of my easiest tattoos I ever got. And then a couple weeks ago, I just got an old school wire wheel on my inner thigh. So that leg is pretty much almost wrapped up. I just have the back side of my thigh, and that's it.
Damn, yeah, the real estate gets pretty expensive, huh? Because you're like, man, I got a few more spots. But yeah, you know, when I think of the culture, and, you know, I said this before when you're on, you know, you post a lot of good photos of yourself, and I think the artwork is great. I mean, you know, from the Nikes that you're rocking to the 65 to, you know, the music, I mean, you've kind of got it all. And, you know, I love to see people like you just, you know, flourish. And when I look at some of the photos you've been posting recently, you know, we'll talk a little bit about Tailfin Tuesday, but you're having a damn good time out there in Cali. I know that.
I definitely am. I mean, just right now I'm enjoying the hell out of life and my cars and just getting tattooed, and I don't know, not a whole lot to worry about. And that's just what my main focus, besides, you know, starting my 59 now, that's definitely going to be a huge focus. But tattoos, I can't get enough. I'm kind of sad because I'm rapidly running out of room. But, you know, maybe one day I'll get it all lasered off and do it all over again.
I thought you were going to say that. But I know you'd be keeping the guys off with those, you know, those couple pistols you got. You're like, man, just back up, y'all. You're like the old West.
I know,
you kick through the saloon doors and you flip the guns on your fingers. And you're like, pow, pow, pew, pew.
Got my little pew-pews going.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting ready to get my concealed carry. And so, you know, I wanted something small enough to carry on me as opposed to like the bigger style Glock. I mean, I still want Glocks and whatnot and a few different handguns, but this one I particularly liked because it was just really compact, super light. You know, it's a Bursa 380. So that's what I ended up going with. So I like the feel of it.
That's a warning shot to all the guys out there that be like, hey, yo, it goes down in the DM. She'd be like, man, back up.
Not to mention, don't be scared of the knife that I just got from Neil.
Oh, snap.
I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. So,
yeah.
Severed Hawaii Neil, right? Good dude. He does some cool ass shit. So tell us about the knife.
Oh, my God. I love Neil. I met him at SEMA. Super nice guy. I've been wanting a knife from him for a long time. And, you know, me and him share that Cadillac bond. So he every time he posts one, because he doesn't really take special orders, you know, every time he posts one, he's got so many followers. And by the time I see it, it's sold. Mm-hmm. You know, I messaged him and I'm like, this isn't even fair. You have like 200,000 followers. I don't even have a chance. Even with post notifications, like it's not happening. Damn. So he randomly had an extra one that he had came up with, and he said, what kind of knife are you looking for? And I said, I want something to carry to fuck some people up with. And he's like, well, anybody will be scared of this one. And he sent me pictures, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's my knife. And I love it. His craftsmanship is amazing. First time I've seen one of his knives in person, and I'm hoping to get more from him soon.
Hell yeah. Well, I just had to pull up his profile, and I'm like, you know, the one thing about Neil, I'll be honest, I can't say his last name. That's a good.
I can't either. It's even worse than mine.
Yeah, so that's a good dude right there. If you look him up, RPM_Neil, Neil. I coincidentally also met him the last SEMA that I went to, and I go, man, let's do a fist bump, man. He goes, nah, man, let's throw up the Severed, and I was like, oh snap, and he's a good dude. He his Cadillac, for those scoring at home, he has Kurtzel black, so he has really kind of babied that thing. It was kind of refurbished, and then it was shipped out to Hawaii, but. Yeah, man, we got to give a lot of love out to them because they've had some rough craziness with the damn lava, and then they had a freaking hurricane, so it's some crazy shit, huh?
Yeah, and he has one of my favorite caddies. He has the 60 Gold Caddy, the Roadster. That was one of my favorite ones that I fell in love with, so I'm pretty pumped that he has that.
Yeah, definitely. Good dude. I got to try to get him on because he was also on that. Am I saying it right? It was either. It's got to be Discovery. I want to say Velocity, but I think it was either History or Discovery.
Yeah, it was the Forged in Fire.
Forged in Fire. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I posted that up on the Severed page, and I was like, damn, that's pretty badass. So, I love the connections that you have because, you've really embraced, as I mentioned, the culture, but you've kind of spread the love between the scene. You don't stick to one club. It's like, boom, you did some business with Neil, and then you're doing some business with Ron. So, I like that, Christina, about you. So tell us, you kind of hinted at the 59. We talked a little bit about it last time you were on. Love the Tailfin Tuesday post, those old, rocket-looking fins and the taillights. But, what's the ultimate goal? Kind of remind us of where you're looking, where your vision's at for this car.
Oh, man. There's a huge vision for it. I actually got a rendering done. I have not dropped that yet.
Nice.
I got it done. Renderings by Tristan Pengilly. Just finished that up for me. And, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say too much, just because I'm kind of keeping most of it under wraps. Last time I did discuss, I want to do a few certain things to it. I did get in on the first pre-order of the AccuAir CVT tanks. So I do have that in, and I finally got it. I did get my wheels in thanks to Mr. Matt Baker. He ended up shipping those to me from the Midwest. And then, I've just been gathering parts and stacking parts. I ended up dropping probably way too much money than I'd like to admit on some fully polished grills for them, front and rear. But holy shit, they're amazing compared to what I have now. They're just completely polished, all 100 pieces of it. So I'm pretty stoked on those.
So tell me this, a lot of you guys, you're following Christina, and when you see on Instagram some of the cool photos and the products that you're running, what blows my mind is if you were to send those parts out to like advanced plating, that'd be some mad loot to get re-chrome, but I know they're not reproducing those. So how did you go about finding those pieces?
So I actually ended up finding the front grill on Instagram, a guy that I follow. I follow a ton of Cadillac people. It's almost like a community in itself. And he ended up he has a 59, and he ended up getting an extra one, and he sent it out to polish because he has the plug on a polisher. And, he posted it up, said the price, and I was like, that kind of hurts a little, but it looks amazing. And, for me to sit there and disassemble my current grill, send it out if it's even in the shape enough to be polished, it's been sitting since the 80s. Yeah, so it would have costed me way more money than to just buy this one. And then, a week later, I heard about a rear grill, which, it has the center flip out for the gas filler and everything, which I think is one of the coolest features of it. But a guy had that on a Cadillac group on Facebook, and it was a pretty good price. And I ended up picking that one up also and had that shipped out. It just cost so much to ship them both because one was from SoCal and one was from like the Midwest. So the shipping hurt a little bit because they're such big ass pieces, but it was worth it.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think what's mind blowing is even though for the Cadillacs, you can buy a decent amount of parts for them, way more than the Lincolns, of course. I do think it's cool that there is a community of people that sling those parts because, to your point, even though it might sting a little bit, it's probably better to get those parts in that condition as far as the polished and whatnot, because hey, that's like a huge piece of the puzzle.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's why I jumped on it as soon as I saw it, just because that's going to ultimately save me time. And then not to mention, I'll still have my grills. So I could always sell them, but with the hoarder that I am, they'll probably go up in my house as like wall art in my quote unquote woman cave. So, cause I actually have the grill from my 65 hanging above my back door. So
hells to the, yeah, I know, man. Every time I see, parts like that, it's like, man, the 60s, especially the 50s, man, you could easily hang that stuff up in the man cave or the woe man cave, you know?
Whoa. Exactly.
So, when I think of your car, it has this amazing patina to it. And I haven't seen it in person. Is it a daunting task to say, hey, I'm going to paint it or I'm going to leave it? I mean, what's the struggle there?
There is no struggle. Absolutely 100%. This is my dream car build. This is a 59 Cadillac. I love patina, but this car deserves paint. And it's going full custom. It's going to be very, very different than my 65. That's all I can say. It's definitely going to have my signature touch on it. And, I put a lot of thought into the design of it. But it is definitely going to have a different vibe, a different feel. Just I wanted to go completely opposite of my 65. And so, I get a lot. Every time I post a picture of it, people see the patina. And I get the, you better not paint it. We won't be friends if you paint it. You better keep the patina. And I'm like, you guys are killing me. Yeah. Like the amount of, there's quite a bit of rust repair that needs to be done. It is a good, solid California car. It's not like the Midwest cars that get pretty rotted. And it's all in the usual spots above the rear skirts, a little on the drip rails on the roof. Around the trunk seal is pretty bad. That's going to need to be all custom made. And then, the lower front fenders. That's pretty much the gist of it, but it's pretty amazing. There is not one dent or ding on that body anywhere. It's just those certain little rust spots. Like you can run your hand down them. There's not one dent on that car.
So tell us a little bit about who's going to be doing the work. So we saw the photo, you dropped it off. You're super stoked. Who do you allow to touch the epic car?
Not many people. With my 65, my brother helped me build it. And then, I had a different painter, a different interior person. This build is going to be fully done at my brother's shop, Supreme Rods and Customs. And my brother's name is Morgan Szeremi. And, with this build, I was pretty hands-on with my 65, but not as much as I would have liked to have been. And, I started learning how to weld more and more. And I told my brother, with the 59, I want to be extremely hands-on. I want to personally do everything on it that I can possibly do. And what I don't know how to do, I want to learn. I want to learn sheet metal. I want to learn, to do the floors, the patch panels, that kind of stuff. I would love to learn the craft. And my brother is very, very talented. So he's going to take the time and teach me. And, I want to try to build the car as much as possible as myself as I can.
Nice. Well, hey, that's a huge dedication. And I kind of have a feeling like Supreme Rod and Customs, we might be seeing a little bit more of that logo soon. I think that's very cool.
Yes, definitely.
Well, hey, big ups to your brother. Now, tell us, to give him a shout out, tell us a little bit about some of the other stuff that he's done as far as the custom stuff. Like, is he mostly in the one type of vehicle?
He really likes the 60s, the 70s, lowriders, bombs, customs, that style vehicle. But he is pretty broad all around in general. He's worked on a lot of my club members, a lot of NR rides. He doesn't particularly like the mini trucks and stuff like that. He's very old school. But he's done chops, metal. His metal work is amazing. Lots of engine bays, firewalls. He spends so much time and does such quality work on things like floor pans and stuff like that on cars. It blows me away because I'll see it in the shop and I'll be like, man, it's a shame this is going to get covered with carpet. Like nobody's ever going to see this. And, he knows that, but he still goes above and beyond and puts so much time and effort into things. And he's really definitely made a great name for himself.
Well, hey, that's big ups to him. Is he? You may have mentioned this. Is he the older or younger brother?
He's 5 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right.
Yeah.
So you can give him a little bit of a hard time. Be like, yo, I'm the youngin', and now, do you have any other siblings?
I do. I have a older half brother, and he's older than both of us. But me and Brandon are really, really close. We're pretty much best friends. We hit the gym every morning together. And whenever I go to the shop, obviously spend that time together.
Nice.
And it's just pretty much anytime he ever does anything with a car, he always calls me for my opinion. And it's funny, like half the times he takes it, half the times he doesn't. But if he could actually keep a car, I would give him more advice. But I kind of learned to keep my advice limited because I know he's just going to do what he wants anyways.
He's like, man, I'd be online during my lunch going, what am I going to trade up for? I'm going to flip this. I'm going to get that.
Yeah, I mean, he was debating, I think, around the time that we talked last time. He has a 72 four-door Caddy that he had bagged on Supremes. It's on Pinner Whites. It's pretty dope. And, it's very his style. It's a big car. It's a freaking boat. And he loves Cadillacs just as much as I do, but he also really loves Impalas. And, he ended up selling it and then regretted it immediately. And ended up getting an Impala, a 69, but he still loves that also. But he had a chance to get the Caddy back, and he ended up buying it back. So he has it back now. And he actually built the 69 Impala for his wife. And she's been driving it around. Her first time, I think, was last weekend. We took it to a little show here locally, and he drove his car. It was pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, he sounds like a good dude, man. I'd like to meet him one day. And I know that it's great when siblings get along and – he can kind of help you with your ride and, show you some of the craft because I know like when I say you are serious, I'm like, damn, like I could see you now, even though the guy is kind of a tool, the guy Dennis Gage, like I could see you on my classic car being like, yo, I'm NR Caddy Queen. This is, these are my tats. This is my car. You need to back up. You know what I mean? Because you are about that life.
I did actually get hit up to be on a TV show. I can't remember. It's like a backyard builder style show. It was on MAV TV. I can't remember the name of it. Mm-hmm. It's where you basically kind of go on and you battle another person, like about whose ride is better.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it, but they did hit me up beginning of the year, and they really wanted me to be on it, but I couldn't make it down to LA, and I don't know. I'm not the type of person to like try to go up against somebody to prove, my car's better or worse. I don't really think anybody's car is better or worse than anybody else's. So, I'd rather just, stay humble and go about my business.
Yeah, I hear you. I think I've seen that show before where it's kind of like a little bracket and they go, hey, and it's just all like likes and stuff.
It's Wrench Wars.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something different, but there's so many different shows on. But yeah, no, I hear you. It's like when you're that passionate about stuff, like I love Lincolns, to me, I'm not, to me, I just like to see the Lincolns. I like to meet the owners. I like to, see what people are doing with them and things like that. But, speaking of shows, we'll talk about SEMA here in a minute. I don't know where it is you may be there, but, one of the shows, and I mentioned this a long time ago on the podcast, one person actually figured it out. I was always like, there's this show. It's on my bucket list. I really want to go. Well, I was watching a TV show the other day, and Chip Foose was on it, and they were at the Grand National Roadster Show. And I think it was like the 66th one. I want to say they're going on like 67, but that's also, I think, where the Sacramento Autorama is. So you got the Grand National Roadster Show is January, and then the Sacramento Autorama is like in February?
Yes. The Grand National Roadster Show is down in SoCal. I don't know exactly where, but then, so they're kind of like sister shows. I know it's like the same website when you look them up and whatnot, and they're on the same flyers. Mm-hmm. But then the Sacramento version is basically Autorama. And I should definitely be in the lowrider room again this year. I'm actually thinking about trying. A lot of my buddies are in the lowrider room, and I just feel like that's where, I don't know, my car belongs. So I've done that the past couple years inside, but I'd like to get in the main building maybe this next year with it. Would be pretty cool.
Yeah, because the homie Ernie, he's been out there with the mini truck, and I thought that was epic. And you've been there as well before, so I mean, I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah, definitely.
The longest running indoor show or car shows in the world. So, to me, like 60, some people are, like Mike would be like, yo, Slam Fest, we were like 27 years. I'm like, dude, man, freaking Grand National Roadster shows like 70 years, I'm like, calm down with that mini madness. We think, you guys think you're awesome and stuff.
Hey, I mean, for a truck show, though, that's pretty good. I mean, the shows out here, that have been 60, 70 years running, those are, hot rod style, custom style shows. Well, they've gotten more custom over the years, but they've, mostly been hot rods, muscle style. So, the 27 years for, truck show, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, we'll give them a little tick mark, When I was out, Vic and I went to Severed in the Southwest 2013, that first weekend in December, hung out with the homie Joe from Severed, Severed Joe, and I was blown away when he goes, yeah, we're the longest running car and truck show, or, it was car show in the state of Arizona. And it's like, to your point, all jokes aside, you start getting to like 25 years, 27, nearing 30. I mean, that's a lot of years in a row to have a damn show.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I love Severed in the Midwest, or not Midwest, the Southwest. Well, also the Midwest. I'd like to go to that also. But, Severed in the Southwest, I've been 1 year. I actually want to say it was 2012. And I had a blast. They have it in that Castles and Coasters place. And I'm definitely going to end up going there this year again.
Damn, look at you. You be calling the stuff out like Mike. Be like, yep, Castles and Coasters. I was blown away because I'm like, well, wait a minute. How are you getting the theme park parking lot? He's like, well, I mean, yeah, we get it. It's closed. I'm like, how was the theme park closed? Because I'm from Florida. It's like 365. Even on Christmas Day, we're at Busch Gardens. He's like, well, it's the winter. I'm like, what's the winter? But it did get damn cold.
It's like 80.
Yeah, it got damn cold, though, in the morning. I had my Severed jacket on. I was like, damn, it's cold. And I'm like, I'm getting a little hot. Take it off. Nope, put it right back on.
Yeah, well, especially in Arizona, it's so freaking hot there. But the overnight lows, it's when the nice breeze comes out, and it does get a little chilly.
Yeah, it's definitely different. So tell us a little bit about, SEMA this year, where it is you may be out there. I know you won't be necessarily have the car, but you're going to have a damn good time, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I already have my flight and my hotel booked, staying, at the D on Fremont, as always, where all the cool people stay. Last year I got to be a small part of SEMA, chopping blocks, used my car in their booth, with some posters to show their product and whatnot, which was really, really cool. I don't think I'm going to be, part of it this year, but I always go just to have a good time. I love SEMA. It's definitely a cool place to go where you can see like all your friends from all over the states. It's kind of that one time of year blowout party. So many different clubs go, and it's just nice. It's like one huge giant show in one.
Yeah, that it is. And I've been telling people for a long time, there's sometimes people like, man, I wish I could go. And I'm like, you can go. And you just kind of perk up. I'm like, if you really, line your stuff up and, book your flights, you get cheap flights out there. You can get, to your point, stay on Fremont Street, good deals. Everybody's got a connection. Somehow you can get in, some people will be photoshopping stuff, like, hey, I got my business here, right here. But seriously, everybody's got their own little gimmick to get in. I mean, hell, if I can get in with a damn podcast, anybody can get in, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
And it's, to your point, I mean, there's so many different vehicles out there. When I was out there, the last two times I went, like I'm walking, I'm out front, I know exactly where I'm at, and I walk by and I was like, oh snap, there goes Holly, Forbidden Fantasy in the house. And, we got a chance to sync up, but it's so amazing to me that there's so many people, but you're bound to run into people that I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing, all those buildings that they have. I get lost in there. I still get lost. I'll be looking for a specific booth, and it'll take me an hour to find it just because it's so huge.
Yeah, and I'm like the last guy to use the app. They're like, well, if you use the app, because I think the last time I was there, I was looking for Moon Eyes forever. And I probably
the app does not help. The app didn't do shit for me last year. Okay, I was walking around. I'm like, I feel really stupid. I need to ask a girl for directions.
Yeah, and the other thing you want to do is you want to have like a new like pair of shoes, but not brand new. Because when I went back like in 2004, like I was like, oh, I got my brand new Air Jordans. And you walk so much, and like you know when you get a brand new pair of shoes, like it takes a couple weeks to like break them damn things in. I'm like, at the end of the night, I felt like an old woman. I was like, man, my freaking feet are sore.
You have no idea. I remember my first SEMA. I tried to be all gangster, and I pretty much wear like bandana house slippers most of the time if I'm not wearing Cortezes. And I was like, oh, I'm going to wear these bandana slippers to walk the show. Worst idea ever. Zero support. There's no cushion. They're just like rubber, like a hard rubber bottom.
Yes.
It was the worst idea I've ever had in my life. My feet killed after that show.
Well, I have a worser idea. I know that's not the right word, but when I was there, it was the year before Mike and I went. I said, man, I'm going gangsta. I got my severed ties. I got my big-ass chain around my neck, right? My medallion. I got my book bag, all my gear. Dude, I had that backpack on. Like, there was a few times, like, I'm getting woozy. You get out front, like, right in the front where they got the nice little green grass. I'm like, man, I'm taking a nap. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm walking around with a chain on. There's like all these people, all these nice cars. They're probably looking at me like, man, who's this guy I think he is? But damn, it was fun. For the first 10 minutes.
Must think he's from the West Coast or something.
Yeah, for the first 10 minutes, I'm like, dang, man, I'm walking around here, like I'm all hard and everything. But then I'm like, man, my neck's getting a little sore, And then it's really bad at night.
Of you.
Yeah, you take the chain off, and I'm like, oh, I got a sunburn everywhere except for where the chain was at. You got a farmer's tan. But,
man, that's funny.
Good old times. But, man, SEMA is awesome. I love they continue to push the limits with I read something recently with the whole rollout this year. They were looking – I don't think they're going to change it, but they said something. They're going to try to make it even more efficient. And, I know Chip Foose is involved. So, I mean, to your point, whether you go for like the first couple days or you don't have a lot of time off, you come on the back end, man, there's something for everyone. So – if I get a chance to make it out there this year, I'll be looking forward to, syncing up with you and all the great people. If not, I'm going to keep plugging away out here on the East Coast. But, Christina, it's always...
Nah, you got to bring your ass out here.
I know, I'll be like throwing up the West Side, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've actually never been for, I've heard Fremont on Halloween is pretty epic, and this is going to be the first year I'm going to make that. So, and I'm going to stay long enough this time to go to the Ignited after rollout. So... I'm pretty excited about both of those.
Hell yeah! I bet you're gonna have. You already probably have in your head. I can hear the little clock ticking. You're like, I know what I'm gonna have a badass outfit for Halloween.
You mean lingerie?
Right, exactly.
That's a Halloween outfit, right?
Anything goes in Vegas, right?
Hey, I don't have all these tattoos on my legs not to show them.
Correct. It's kind of like the floor pans. You just can't like cover them up. You know what I mean?
Don't put carpet on it.
Right. That's good stuff. Well, it's always good syncing up. Salute to your bro that's helping you out. You've got a lot of passion. You work hard. You play hard. You got you got a lot of stuff going for you. So we salute you. Was there anything else that you wanted to kind of share with the Airhead Nation?
Make sure to check out the Hammer and Weekend Wear shirt and pick yourself up one. I think you guys are really going to like it. It's pretty much everything West Coast, everything me wrapped up into one shirt. So I think you guys will be pretty excited over the design as much as I was.
Christina be like, man, we're going to be sea walking in this one right here. What?
What?
Sacktown in the house. But
yeah.
In all seriousness, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Look her up. We already know you're following her. You got the post notifications turned on. It's NR Caddy Queen, repping from No Regrets. And like I always say, don't forget that hashtag, No Regrets CC for No Regrets Car Club. They're laying it down all over the U.S. So, hey, big ups, Christina. Keep doing your thing.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
We out here.
Look, I need more than just romantic feelings. When shit is frantic, need a business that the scandals with fucking is killing. To be appealing, have a bachelor and cold feelings. Mind for numbers, say to wonder with this drug dealing. The feelings make me a villain to them pH unbalanced civilians. Don't let them hurt feelings turn this lesson to a killer. Game spilling, my prophecy fulfilling. To be involved with a killing must be immune to squilling. Listen, lady, what does it take to get you out and crazy? Pass you a load of 38 and bust some fools who play me. This is how I plan at night. First we ride on the buster, then we dine, eating dinner by candlelight. Be alert and putting work with a thug's passion. I'm the king and you the queen up in Thug's Mansion. Me, I'ma never be a buster, I ride for keeps. I know you shy, but please reply. Would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Bust on the motherfuckers when they lie to me. Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bank on them niggas when they lie to me? Don't ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?
Come on, baby, won't you ride for me? Do the time for me, just cock back the 9 and see how many niggas put a gun in your hand. Tell you to take what you can while you running with your man. On my order, you shoot, straight counting the loot. You disguised in my boots, dip and slide in the coupe. Unorthodox tripping, catch 'em on mission, styles twisting daily. Weak MCs trail me, show me and I'm telling me. Smoke me instead of telling me. You know it ain't no fatal dog and J without felony. At the telly, they yelling me. Play me, I give you one try, and I'll let you live long enough to let you see your son die. This evilness and wickedry, thug life specifically. It can be about as deadly as some bullets that keep missing me. So what I'm supposed to do, just to open up your eyes and see you got it good. All you have to do is ride for me.
So tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?
It was a nice sunny day, I was dipping through the hood. Seen all my homies and it was all to the good. I'm Kurupt, the half-faced villain, cold chilling from the floor to the ceiling. An illegal living civilian, so much cash is in abundance. Been there and done it, everything you done seen and never wanted. I'm Kurupt, piece me up a piece of the pie. Many tried and many died in attempts to ride. Who's the man? With 10,000 plans, got the brands with my squad. We worldwide homicidal clans. So many stretch their arms out to touch my loot. But fuck the dog, we're the owner, cause the owner is shoot. Leaves a dog in the worst way. And a nigga like me is tight on my worst day. I've been rocking the fucking mic since the first day. My eyes open wide and finally realize. Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?
So tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you bomb more niggas when they lie to me? Now don't you ever tell a lie, just confide in me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?